Just because a good friend of mine, you guys hear me talk about Scott York all the time, and my buddy Scott York turned me on to something because, Russ, you might like this. This is a new app, a new thing that's going around. Let's see if we can make any sense of it. And he came over to my house and he's showing me this thing, and I'm like, I don't know. What the hell? What is this? And he starts trying to show it to me, and then I go into one, they call them rooms, right, of Clubhouse. It's called Clubhouse. And I go into one room, I'm like, hey, I know that person. That's Jana from Jana Banana, and so by that connection, her and I started talking. Like, well, what can we do with this that make it fun for our monster listeners? And I think we came up with something that's pretty friggin' brilliant. And I'm really super excited about it. And look at the people that are so excited to hear from Jana Banana. I call her Jana Banana. Got no limits. Because the girl got no limits. By the way, welcome back. I'm Russ, along with Carlos, Ryan, Angel, and Jana Banana with us. And Jana, how you doing?
I am so good. Do you know it's been almost 7 years since I was on Real Radio 104.1? Woo!
And people not only remember you, but I mean, love you. I'm looking at all the, oh my God, she's a legend. They love you to death. And when you talk to me about this, I'm like, okay, let's think of something we could do together with this. But before we get into the idea, and I love the idea, by the way, and I appreciate you throwing it out there in the first meeting saying, I want to do something with the monsters. I mean, I was proud of that, to be honest with you. But
I'm so excited.
I appreciate that. I think the audience needs to maybe, the new audience, because there's new listeners all the time, get to know you again. And, I was warned by so many people, oh, Russ, don't ask her about that. She'll get mad. Don't say this, Russ. She'll get upset. Oh, don't bring that up. Oh, that's going to be. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to talk to her and ask her.
I'm such a bitch.
I didn't know Jana was that tough of an interview. Wow. I didn't realize she was Marshawn Lynch every post game.
Carlos, you don't understand. So many people gave me these warnings. Oh, be careful what you say to Jana about. And so when I talked to Jana, she's like, Russ, ask me anything. I don't care. And I'm like, are you sure? She said, yeah. So Jana, for people that don't know you, and they, tell them the Jana Banana story. Even as much as someone said, don't call her Jana Banana. That'll make her mad. You got to call her Jana Shelfer. And I did ask you. The first thing I asked you was, do you mind if I ask?
Let me tell you the story about Banana. I grew up in a small town. So small that I had both of my parents as teachers. The first day of kindergarten, I went to school and my mom was my music teacher. She said, Jana Banana, get over here, in front of all the other kids. And of course, everybody started laughing. I went home that day and said, Mom, how could you have called me Jana Banana in front of everybody? And I was in tears. I cried. The second day of school, we went around to see who remembered whose name. Nobody could remember anyone's name except for Jana Banana.
That's right.
Of course.
So it stuck from kindergarten on. And who knew when I became an adult, it actually became a career. It was how and why Jim Phillips hired me, was because of a banana.
And I know that you and Angel started on the Phillips File as interns the same time, right?
Yes.
You got a couple weeks ahead start of me.
I got a couple weeks head start, and Jim Phillips hated me for the first 2 weeks.
Wow. I don't believe that.
This is a true story. He hated me so much that he went into his office and he said, Moira, get that other kid that we interviewed. This girl is not going to work. And so then they called in Angel, who they had already interviewed prior, and I beat him out.
Wow, there's beef
yes.
here.
And then I came to work that next day, and Jim said, so we're going to have 2 interns.
I remember.
Yeah, so I got demoted from being the intern to now being a co-intern.
And that had to really suck because Angel didn't even speak English at the time.
Yeah.
So
all he
that
could
had
say
to.
was, so sorry, so sorry. That's all he could say.
Banana was so nice to me though, because she would always go over my Rosetta Stone homework together and make sure that I got all that stuff in.
Yes, silver. He always would say silver. I still don't know what the heck he was trying to say.
And how many years were you on with the Phillips file, Jana?
12
Wow.
years.
12 years? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I did not know it was that long. Okay, so
12
this is
of the best years of my life.
well, and you were well loved. I know Jim loved you. I know everyone around the station loved you. The listeners loved you. And then you decided to leave and go do other things. But I have to bring this up. And this is what people said, oh my God, don't say anything. But one of the things that people would get flipped out about, like, oh my God, I went to this event. I went to a Miss Monster and Jana was there and she was in a wheelchair. What's going up with that? And you never talked about it on the radio. So I thought, oh, we're not allowed to say anything. And then people would say, don't say anything. So what was the thought process behind not mentioning it? And what would you say when people would meet you for the first time?
Okay, so this is actually a huge part of my story because when I was cast on the Phillips file, it was a Jim Phillips decision. And he said, you know what, let's just don't let the disability overshadow your personality. That was really the thought behind it. And he said, it's almost like a modern day FDR. Let's think of it like that, a modern day FDR. And I went home that day and every person that I told said, that's outrageous. That's crazy. You should stand up against that. That's terrible. And I said, you know what? I was in a car accident at age 15. For the last decade, I've been saying, gosh, I wish people could see me for me and not my disability. I wish people could just see me. And all of a sudden, I'm offered this job with the caveat, we don't want to mention your disability. And I said, thank you. Thank you, God.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, 100%.
So, I mean, it actually worked out in my favor. Yeah. It actually was exactly what I wanted. And all of a sudden, I was just like everybody else.
I had no idea about the disability, by the way.
You didn't know?
I had no idea.
What?
People didn't know, and people loved her. You know, people loved you not because you're in a wheelchair. But that's why I call her Jana Banana. She got no limits, because if you follow her, she does dancing things. She's done skydiving. You can't. Jana Banana got no limits. But okay, so when you would go to a promotion and they would see that you're in a wheelchair, I mean,
what would they say? The first thing out of their mouth would say, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Now, over 12 years, when you start hearing, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Oh my God, what's wrong with you? I know the intention is, why are you in a wheelchair? Why are you sitting? Why don't we know this about you? But in your subconscious, that starts putting a little seed of, you know what, maybe there is something wrong with me. And that's a hard question to answer, you know? So the name of my book that I am writing is What's Wrong With You? What's wrong with you?
Well, there's nothing wrong with you, that's for sure. And I think what Jim Phillips did was brilliant, and what a gift to you. But that's why I talked to you about this. I said, you don't mind talking about it now, do you? And you said no, because it's going to be part of the book, and you want people to know. And people, I got to tell you, she got no limits. She does everything. She does more than all of us, which is brilliant. Okay, so we talked about that. Now let's talk about the idea. Once again, I knew people loved you you and missed you. And you said, listen, what can we do together on Clubhouse? And you talked about hosting something on there. And I'm like, I think I think we got to do something different. We have to do something that no one else is doing as of yet. So here is our idea, and then we can bat this around back and forth. But starting on Wednesday, this depends on whether Ryan's going to come to my house today and see if we can patch my phone into the board here so I can be live on Clubhouse. Clubhouse is an application where you can talk to people all over the world. And Jana, you're really more into it than I am. So explain to what Clubhouse is, because I know you're super excited about it.
I'm addicted to this app. And what's so crazy is I just got on this app probably 3 weeks ago. My husband got COVID, so I had a little extra time on my hands, and so I started playing around with it. He's doing much better now. But I started getting on it, and I realized, oh my gosh, this for me is the social platform that I have been waiting for. This aligns with everything that I have been wanting. It's a marketplace of ideas.
With people from all over the world. That's what I loved about it. And as soon as I became a part of it, Frank Caliente started following me, and other CEOs and people that
hold on. What wrestler is
it
Frank Caliente?
What is it?
Frank Caliendo.
Frank Caliente it's Frank Caliendo, right?
Yeah.
Caliendo. Okay. Yeah. I got his last name wrong, but
you just called him Frank Hot.
Yeah, Frank Hot.
He's a hot guy. But all CEOs.
See, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, Angel, I taught you Spanish.
Absolutely. Either way.
So, okay, here is the idea. Jana's been doing it, and she wanted to do something with us. And I said, well, if we're going to do something, let's do something on the air. Let's make it so listeners can hear some of the people from around the world that are on Clubhouse, and we'll have our own monster Clubhouse worldwide. And it's because it's such a clear connection, because people that have it, it's got to be on their phone, and it's on an iPhone. And so the connection is super clear, and we can meet and get to hear from all kinds of people from around the world, and Jana will host it on Clubhouse. So at 9:00, Jana will go on and kind of warm up the room and see who's interesting and who do you think the monsters will like, kind of a thing. We'll go on live on Clubhouse for a segment or two, depending on how much fun we're having, and then Jana will wrap it up afterwards. So it'll be a Monster Clubhouse live thing. The first time anyone will actually be broadcasting it on radio. So we're doing something new and different, which is cool. And we've got an incredible host that everybody loves. Once again, she got no limits.
Yeah. Woo! Well, I've been putting some feelers out, and I'm hoping that we attract a lot of people from a lot of different areas. I know just this morning I was talking to Kuldeep from Bali. And I said, Kuldeep, you're going to have to come on with Monsters in the Morning. Yeah. And I think Gary Henderson, who is like, he claims to be a bigwig. So
hey, listen,
he's going to be there.
It'll be fun to talk to bigwig. It'll be fun to talk to people from around the world, find out why they're on Clubhouse, and then you can vet them and talk to them. And I love what you also do on your Facebook. You and your husband Jason, who's such a wonderful guy. Jason's awesome. What are some of the things you're doing just so that people want to keep in touch with you, Jana?
You know what? You can go to my website, which is www.janashelfer.com. And I have all sorts of things right now. I have a YouTube page, a podcast. We go live every morning on Real Jana Shelfer. We are starting a self-development brand. So we're doing a lot of life coaching and helping people live their best life.
And listen, you're someone, you've had adversity. Do you have another segment? Can you stick around for one more segment?
Of Of course.
Okay, because I wanted to, the couple other things I wanted to ask you about, but we're thinking about doing this, maybe just once a week. Maybe if it's awesome, we'll do it every day. I don't know. Jana said, hey, listen, whatever works, she's just willing to help out. I'm looking at the texting service. People love the fact that Jana Banana's here, so hold on. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we have some more questions for Jana, find out how she's doing. You're listening. Man, look at that reaction. That's really cool. That's got to make you feel good, Jana. Welcome back to the Monsters Mornings, Real Radio 104.1, broadcasting live on iHeartRadio. I'm Russ Rollins, along with Carlos and Ryan Holmes, Angel, and I think welcoming to the cat, Jana Banana, who's going to be on with us at least once a week, maybe every day if it goes well. We don't know how it's going to go, do we, Jana?
Oh, we don't know.
We don't know.
You know what? I've decided that that's what confidence is. It's when you don't care what the outcome is. You just go in with both feet.
Well, we talked about this, and I said, okay, let's start next week. And you're like, what are you crazy? I said, hey, let's just do it. We don't know. We're just going to throw it against the wall if it sticks. But I love the idea. It's an app called Clubhouse where you can talk to people from all over the world. It's a very clean reception. And that was the problem that we had with taking phone calls. Is we can never get a good phone call. It sounds bad, but this is clear. We have someone who can host it, beforehand and kind of screen and get some of the best people to talk to. And the audience gets to hear Jana Banana introduce us to people from around the world. And who knows what kind of connections we might make? It's a journey, and it's kind of like your life, right, Jana?
My life is a journey. And the way I see it is when you go to a party, there's always that first few minutes when the party's getting started, where it's kind of awkward, nobody knows anybody. Well, I'll come in and I'll kind of help fill that gap. And then you can come in and I'll say, hey, Russ, I met this person, and I can kind of be the networker, the connector.
Yeah. You're going to be perfect at it, but I got to tell you, Jen, I just got a text from somebody that's on this show.
Oh, no.
And they're not happy about this segment. Let's just say this person's name rhymes with Tyne Holmes. And he believes that you stole his Monster Messages bit, but have turned it into an audio version, and he is very upset about it. Ryan Holmes, what do you have to say about this?
I don't know who this Tyne Holmes person is, but they've got a great point. Because I did have this bit, and because Russ didn't think of this bit on his own, he didn't like my bit, but he thought of this one, which is essentially my bit that I was already doing, and he went and recruited like somebody Orlando absolutely loves, a star, and he's like, I made it my thing. So
what you're saying is Russ took your idea and made it infinitely better, where it's actually going to work and be listenable. Yeah, you're right.
Whether it's working or not, it's all theory at this point.
Yeah, we'll see. You know what?
Jen, I want you to know, you are great, and I love you, and Orlando loves you, and you're fantastic. But you have been roped into some shenanigans of a stolen idea. Basically, Russ is Steve Jobs to me, is what he did right there. He took my idea, made it flashy, got some superstars, and he called it his idea.
One has nothing to do with the other.
No one's even upset about it.
Yeah, no one cares, Ryan. Nobody cares, Ryan.
Maybe the lesson is you should try to convince him that it was his idea to begin with.
Look,
somebody's smart.
She's dropping gems on you already.
Someone's got some smarts,
on you already. You might want to write this down.
Yeah. That's pretty. But here's the thing. This is because of the app Clubhouse, which I didn't know anything about, and Jana and I were just trying to figure a way to make it work. So we were gonna not do it on the show, but I'm like, no, let's do it so everybody can listen. This will be awesome, and nobody else is broadcast. Nationwide. We're on nationwide with iHeart. And you are the host of it. I love this because I love you being affiliated with us. I mean, and you talk about, this month is International Women's Month, and you talk about some strong women on this show now. You talk about Savannah and Angelique and Jana Banana. Those are the three of the strongest women I know, and so proud that you even wanted to do this, Jana. And I don't know how the Clubhouse thing is going to work, but you've been doing it for a while. Who are some of the people that you've met doing this app?
I ended up in a room with the Shark Tank people.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. And then I raised my hand to get on stage. And I was like, oh, I'm going to tell them about my idea. And then I was like, what's my idea? Do I have an idea? I don't even have an idea. And you know how when the microphone is about to come to you and
Yeah.
you're sitting there going, oh my God, come up with something. And the only thing I could think of was like this stupid random idea that Otto had given me like 10 years ago about a ringing door. What do you call it when you ring a
doorbell.
Oh, when you go to someone's door and you ring the doorbell,
Yeah.
and then it sprays deodorant into the house. You remember that?
Not a bad
Angel's
idea,
laughing.
actually.
I do remember this.
Yeah.
Yes, this was. Yeah.
How great would it have been if that would have taken off? You made millions from it, and
Yeah.
Otto's sitting back going, "What the hell? What the
So
hell?"
then when you enter the house, it's like, oh, how nice and fresh it smells in here.
But you know what?
Stolen multiple ideas then.
To Ryan Holmes' point, though, Ryan, what I love about Clubhouse is that it is live. There's no recorded anything. So what you were doing was old recorded stuff that could be manipulated. If this is live people, live radio, live folks that you're talking to on the phone. I was in a thing the other day, Carlos, with Justine Bateman.
Nice.
Do you follow her? She has
Yeah.
like
She's into it.
180,000 followers.
Yeah, she's into it. I was in the same room with her. I didn't raise my hand to talk, but like if I wanted to, I could have, and we could make that connection. So I don't know. Listen, a lot of people are into TikTok. That's not really my thing, but this, because it's live and live people talking, I think is super cool. And having Jana Banana associated with it, I just think is awesome. And I'm so glad you're excited about it.
I went into a room yesterday and it was a listening room and it was run by a monk. And that was weird because there was probably 500 people in there. And the first thing people want to do when they enter a quiet room about
Yeah.
listening is they want to talk.
Yeah.
And then when they start talking and they realize that nobody else is talking, then they quietly stop.
Right.
And then it just gets really quiet in the room. And it was profound. I put it on my calendar and I thought, I'm going to do this every Sunday.
Hey, so I mentioned this to you the other day. We were talking a little bit about this, about me calling you, saying that, look, Jana Banana, she got no limits, because that's the way I view you. And I'm like, man, you're never sad, you're never upset. And you were like, oh, Russ, that's not particularly true. You had a dark time right after you left the Phillips file, did you not?
I did. I went through a severe depression, severe. And I don't know if you know my whole story, but at the end of my time at Real Radio, I felt like something was missing inside, and I started feeling this voice that started saying, Jana, there's something bigger and better for you, and you need to go find it. You need to go find it. And I just kept suppressing that voice. And the
Right.
more I tried to suppress it, my body started breaking down. And it started with, I just started getting the flu, or I started getting a cold. Whenever somebody would get sick at the station, I would get it. And then I started getting food allergies. And then I started to get, so I couldn't sleep at night and my bones started hurting. And then next thing you know, I started having anxiety to the point where at the last Phillips File poker tournament, I was in the bathroom, literally almost in the fetal position, feeling like I couldn't talk to people. I was like having like a panic attack and getting to the point where I couldn't be around people. And I didn't know what was happening to me. And I finally went to Jason and I said, I think I'm having a nervous breakdown.
Wow.
And so he said, well, you know what? Let's just put all of our money into that bucket list vacation. And so we went to Africa on safari for like 3 weeks. And I know that I've told Carlos this story, but while we were in Africa, we were in our caravan and we had a private driver, and he stopped the caravan and he said,
Are you
Jana
Jana Banana?
Banana,
Oh, never.
look, And like over in the distance, there was this line of elephants marching,
Yeah.
and they were single file. And I said, Eustace, where are they going? And he said, I don't know, somewhere special. And that's all he said to us. But that night, we went into our camp and we had dinner. We fell asleep watching the Nature Channel, which is what they call it when you watch the stars. And the next morning, Jason got up to go out into the bush. I was awakened to my walkie talkie, and it was like, Jana Banana, you are in extreme danger. I was in the middle of the Serengeti in my tent all by myself, and I went to the edge of my tent. I was surrounded by elephants. I had elephants all around me, and I literally was about 6 feet from a baby elephant with the mother hovering it, and I made eye contact, and in that moment, I just felt like I was that something special. And it just made me feel like there's something bigger and better that I need to go pursue. And so I got on the plane to come home and I quit my job. And I had no rhyme, no reason. And I felt like I went into a depression because I lost my identity. I
Yeah.
lost my creative outlet. I feel like the Phillips File was family to me. I feel like fans, I lost contact with fans. My family thought I was crazy. Everyone, I like it was weird. And then I went into a depression.
How did you get
And
out of the
and
depression? What is it that helped you get out of the depression?
ah
Ironically, elephant meat. Ironically.
I thought you were going to say drugs and alcohol. You know, really, drugs and alcohol helped tremendously.
A lot of Jack
No,
Daniels.
I mean, it's been a really long journey, a long process, but serving others, we got to a point where we started hosting foreign exchange students because I couldn't get out of bed. Like it
Wow.
got to the point where it was dark. And so by serving others, that's what got me out of it, by helping other people.
Well, I will tell you this. I don't know what's going to happen with Clubhouse, but if it just did what it has done today, which has brought you back here to tell your story and to be a part of our show, it's worth every second of it.
Right.
And I'm excited. I think this is a segment that can be an everyday segment. We're hoping that it is. Jana says she knows it. Listen, if it's not working, we'll do it once a week. But I think every day we could talk to people from around the world with Jana Banana. I think it's awesome. That's what we're going to try. Ryan Holmes is coming over today to hook everything up so we make sure it works that way. But Jana, excited about Wednesday. It'll be our first day, and I can't wait. That's Jana Banana will be with us on Wednesday with Clubhouse Worldwide. And thank you for coming on. People love you, by the way.
Thank you guys. I am so excited. Join Clubhouse so you can join the room and you can get on and talk to us, and it's gonna be fun. So
It's gonna be
thank you
great.
so much.
You got it, girl. No problem. All right, listen, don't go anywhere. When we come back, Carlos is going to take you to the top. You're listening to the Monsters of the Morning. Thank you, Jana.